Giardina joins us. Coach, good to see you in the Eastern time zone in Charleston. How are you this afternoon?
Oh, I'm doing great. We've had some unbelievable heat here this summer, and today is actually not too hot. So a little break from the heat is a welcome thing.
Too hot being just mid 90s instead of upper 90s, right? Something like that.
Correct. We've seen triple digits too many times this summer. Holy
It's a
smoke.
beach town. We're going to be fine with it. That's for sure.
Correct.
Hey, great to see you again. Great to be a part of this event with you. I wanted to ask you a couple of things. Still a little bit of catch up from last season when we first met, and also some other pretty generic preseason questions. So first and foremost, are you done with your vacations and personal stuff? Is it now just getting ready for ball, or are you going to sneak away still yet?
Yeah, not me personally, but we are going to give our players a little week off, to kind of have a little mental kind of recharge here the week before camp. I think that's important, just for them to kind of reset for this big grind that we have in the season. So they'll have some time off, but I don't know. Probably like every coach, I feel like I work every day. So and I'm a-okay with that, by the way. So yeah.
How many student athletes stayed on campus this summer? How many carried over for you to this point?
Oh man, so we have our entire team here now. We started after Memorial Day, and so it's been a fun 8 weeks of watching them grow and get better. And obviously, you do the tangible things with the running and the strength, but it really is the in between times and the relational aspects that are the most, I think, important and special. And we have seen grow tremendously. And we have a new strength staff. We got a new weight room. So we have broken that in very well. And Eric Schwager and his staff are to be commended for just the effort they've put in. Not only we've seen some awesome gains from guys' numbers, but I think it's been more the camaraderie that we've seen be built.
When we talked last season, prior to last season, you
Mhm.
were, and nothing in my impression in the short period of time we've been together now has really changed. You're really excited and really grateful to be at a place like Charleston Southern, and it's got so many advantages.
It's a blessing. I'm not even sure that's the right word. It's more than that. It's to be the head coach here, and certainly a great town, a neat place, but to be able to coach in a manner where we're trying to exemplify the Lord and to honor Christ in everything that we do. One of the big things in our program there this year is we want our players to embrace freedom. Uh, I want them to embrace freedom on the field, that they just take the chains off and run fast and play hard. But I also want them to be free in their personal life. And there's no better way to do that than to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And so we're trying to model that every day, and sometimes imperfectly, by the way. But as a staff, we have all of our coaches returning, which I think says a lot for what our staff thinks of this place, and how much our staff enjoys working here with these players. It truly is a pleasure.
Those of us in the media love this question, so bear with me. What'd
Yeah.
you learn in year one at Charleston Southern?
Ooh, yeah, a bunch. Learn I don't have all the answers, and that I can't just will us to win. Learned that I probably pushed the team too hard, and so we kind of faded down the stretch a little bit. And learned that hey, we got to get better in some areas. So we've taken a deep dive. I think from everywhere, from a statistical standpoint, to hey, how do we practice? And we're not going to change our identity and who we are. We still want to be a team that runs the football and stop the run, but we didn't do that very well last year. And well, what are the reasons why? And so we've tried to address a lot of those things. Hopefully, we get to put some of those answers on tape here soon, and hopefully, it'll show up on the win column come whatever the season. But it's not so much the wins; it's how we do things that we're concerned with.
So at your website, to answer your question, it's 45 days and 2 hours until the Citadel.
Yes,
They've got a
sir.
counter there in case you looked
Love
at.
it.
I don't often ask these questions, but geographically and the name, Nick Reves on your staff, uh,
Sure.
a great background of football in this part of Tennessee. Talk a little bit about
Absolutely.
Nick and his background. It's a
I
name that's
tell,
very familiar with many of us here in
oh,
Middle Tennessee.
100%. I tell Nick all the time he's going to have a statue right beside Peyton's outside of Neyland. I say you're the greatest walk-on to ever play at Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Who goes from non-scholarship to all-conference SEC and the thing I would like to brag on Nick about is he's a great coach, but he's a better person. He's a better dad, and he's a great example for what it is to be a Christian and be a competitive athlete. And if you see him, the guy looks like he could still play. Okay, and can still lift the world. And so certainly, if I ever go to Knoxville, I'm taking Nick with me. Just for whatever, just for a treat, just a weekend, right? Because I want to eat for free, and I know if he's there, I will eat with him for free.
And you need to bring his dad along too.
Oh, Fuad, yes, absolutely. So we've had many great conversations. So
Thank you for answering that because in looking and reviewing, I did a kind of a deep dive on your coaching staff. All right, let's
absolutely.
talk about this team this year. You learned a lot. You faded down the stretch. You
Mhm.
made some revisions in how you approach the game. So,
Right.
what does 2024 look like for you?
I think it looks like a team that looks a lot different than last year's team. From personnel to just our ability to sustain and finish. We were super young. I think we were one of the youngest teams in the country last year. I guess anybody can put anything on Twitter, right? But at one point, putting out this graphic that we played 32 of our top 44, 32 of our two deep were freshmen and sophomores last year. Um, so that's like parenting a 12-year-old. Sometimes they do really good, and then sometimes they are 12. And do crazy stuff. So, if you look at the things they put out the other day about our players to watch, a lot of our guys are sophomores on that. It's exciting for the future of our team. But it's also one of those things that, hey, we got to be good now. And we got to have a team that's close knit. I think you'll see a team that is actually a whole lot closer and that understands those things. Uh, and Yeah, embraces the fact that we've got to play free, the fact that we got to love CSU.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the schedule. I mentioned, touched on it with Citadel to open up and the
Mm,
proximity there in Charleston. You go to Furman and Richmond, and those are two great FCS teams to kind of
mhm.
get yourself battle ready before the conference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of tradition. Both those programs, I believe have won national championships and have a lot of history. And obviously, both of them playoff teams last year. So um, it's exciting. You don't really, the 2023 season, in my mind, has no bearing on the 2024 season. But it's exciting to play Furman. They're in state. That should be a proximity, a rivalry for us, right? And then to get to go play a team with the reputation that Richmond has, for me, and I think for our program, if we're trying to become nationally relevant, then guess what? We got to go play some of these national brands.
Pretty long road trip inside the conference schedule to SEMO, a team that is going to be up near the top as well. And
Mhm.
then you do, in my estimation, when I look at the schedule, and hey, that's what the media does. You do get a break when you have the preseason number one team at home in November in UT Martin. How do you feel about that conference schedule as it relates to home games?
Well, I wish we played them in September when it was really hot, but uh, but no, I certainly think uh, the everybody in this league is really good, and I think there's some good parity here. I think Eastern Illinois is a really good team too. Shoot, I think everybody's really good, but just based off of last year and what they have coming back, so um, there are no off weeks. You have to bring your A game every week in this association that we have here. And that's the beauty of this thing. I think that's why our league is strong. I root for the Big South and the OVC team every single week when we get to these non-cons because hey, I want our league to be strong and we deserve recognition. We want to be a team that or a league that can be a two bid league every single year. We know we're going to beat each other up, but that's the beauty of it, and so whether it's UT Martin having to make a trip here or us having to go to Nashville and play Tennessee State, Lord have mercy, the Buccaneers are going to have to bring the blue and the gold every single week.
Okay, I've got to finish up the schedule talk. Florida State the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Well,
Did your athletic director hurt you on that one?
No, we in all seriousness, we actually these Power Four games or whatever you want to call them now. I'm not sure if I can keep up with the lingo. It changes so fast in college football right now. But for us to be able to put our team out there against Florida State and Mike Norvell and everything they've done, especially coming off of last year, I think is a tremendous blessing for our university. It's a great thing for our team. And I think we probably had some guys that grew up wanting to play at Florida State. Well, guess what? You get to be on the visitor sideline and go do it. So absolutely, it's a great challenge. But we know that. I mean, that's what you do when you play FCS football. Yeah, is you go out and you play some guys who on paper, have maybe a few more resources than you.
Coach, great talking to you. Again, welcome to year number 2 of a fantastic opportunity that awaits you. You look so much more settled in and ready to go. And I really sense that for you. So we wish you the best from Nashville, and we look forward to seeing you along the way.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And it's, you are 100% correct. So if you want to, tell me how to implement some of the game plan stuff here for some of this stuff, we'll gladly take your advice.
We'll share our screen. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.